no issue with her saying something and going further and trying to cut deeper than Erica did. You know what I'm saying? Or Blue Spice did. As a matter of
So
fact,
you just
go
don't
ahead.
believe that there's rules of engagement for anything.
No, I do, but not when it comes to streets. Like for instance, if if me and my wife, right, got into a heated argument, there is rules of engagement for this argument. I know there are certain intimate details that she told me that I should never bring up in an argument to win said argument, because we are two people that's supposed to love each other. So boom, rules of engagement is I don't say what she told me when we first got together, that she's vulnerable and what happened in her past. Same with me. She can't go and say anything or step on my toes about something that I told her that, I might feel weak as a man. So those things is the rules of engagement, but that's because that's my wife. So there's certain things and boundaries we're not going to cross. But a person that I don't like that's on TV, or we're trying to make ratings and all of this stuff, all gloves are off. If I see somebody in the streets and let's say they hit me, all gloves off. There is no, I could literally, like, if someone was to assault me in the street, I feel like you could go as far, and in some states called stand your ground, you can go as far as kill them, even if they punch you and run off somewhere or something like that. Like, that's justified in some states. So it just depends on how far you're willing to take it. And like I said, you can't worry about somebody's reaction if you start it up. Now, if someone just randomly comes and do something to you and you walking down the street, that's kind of fucked up for them to do something like that to you. Would you agree?
Yeah.
But do you get my rules of engagement? Like, someone that I call close, that I'm called close to, or we've told details to and stuff like that, I believe those are rules of engagement. But somebody random now, I don't think there is.
I can understand what you mean, like this idea of feeling like you have an obligation to certain people. Obviously, you have like an obligation to your wife. She's your life partner.
Yeah.
And you definitely want to make sure that you don't say something as best as you can. You don't want to say something that's going to really tarnish your marriage, even in the midst of anger. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna look at some of the chats, some of the comments, because
Let me shut the
I know
screen.
you're, yeah, I was about to say, I know you're mostly looking at the videos and stuff, so I'll try to keep the chat, keep up with it. So, um, let me see. NYG, you are out of control. Undisclosed username says, I guess she didn't learn from that female trucker in Dubai. They never learn. They never learn, right? Um, Undisclosed username also says she recently released a book called I Bring Nothing to the Table, but she made herself available for a hetero man to approach her for a phone number. Sounds like Cap. Yeah, Sid, did you get a chance to, and don't let me jump the gun. I know you got an arsenal of videos to show, but did you get a chance to see that video of this same lady we're talking about, the brick lady, where she was talking about, she's basically like LGBT friendly or whatever, and she's like,
Oh,
oh,
so
I
when she
hope,
said something about the lesbians,
yeah.
yeah, I seen that one. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find.
she that was literally her saying that which of course, I'll let you guys see it, but basically pay attention to what she says as far as who are supposed to be the providers and protectors of the community. And this is what happens when you adopt feminism. Ladies, listen and hear me clearly. There's no winners in that. You don't win. You don't have the power, the fortitude, the strength, the tenacity. You don't have any of those things that men have. The reason why you think you do is because in decades recent, you've been dealing with the Pookies and Ray Rays of our community, the lowest hanging fruit of our men. And so you have confused yourself to think that all of our men are that way. But real sound based black men and men in general, they don't mirror any of those components. They are protectors, they are providers, they are stoic, and they're not overly emotional, and they're not feminine in nature, and they're not losers, and they're not leeches, right? So don't blame the good men because you have slummed it up with the help for the last 30, 40 years, and then when you get 50 years old and you're an empty nester, and even your son don't want to be bothered with you anymore because he outliving his life, and you try to emotionally incest with him, and then you want to go try to find you some simp and all this type of stuff. And sometimes that does work, but I think a lot of men are waking up, and what and what Kevin Samuels used to say, winter is coming.
Yeah, he did say that, and winter is coming, especially with this recession we in, and the cold weather's coming up, and then holidays are coming up. I was watching a video, right? of this guy, and you might have seen it, but it was this guy, and he was talking about how 80% of evictions were by women.
Yep.
When
Yep.
I looked at the comment section, it was nothing but black women that dissing black men, saying one, black men don't have their own houses, black men stay with their mamas, black men are homeless, black men need to take on black women, need to take on black women and take care of black women because we wouldn't be getting evicted and stuff like that. And I'm like, are y'all listening to yourselves? Like, 1 minute y'all saying y'all want the thugs and your gangsters and all of this, like the incident that's in Birmingham right now. The three young ladies that got killed and the other guy that got shot, right?
Okay, you
They,
you got the scoop on that? What's the scoop on that?
I don't want to give it out too much because somebody's gonna do a podcast on it, but pretty much my basis of that is, you know how so many women say they want thugs and gangsters and all of this and want to be seen with these guys, but they know these
Yep.
guys in dangerous lifestyles, getting shot at and stuff like that. And so if you know you in these dangerous lifestyles, getting shot at, and you want to be around this guy, being close to this person because put your life in danger so bad that you could lose your life just because you want to be cool or you want the thug, or this what masculinity looks like. And I hate to say it, but in our community, the black community, masculinity and being a thug are synonymous. And I hate to say that.
Well, and see, that's the issue though, is that because at some point, yes, it could be where we recognize that the proverbial thug and gangster, he does possess some warrior class qualities, right? But it's like I tell these people, honey, if you want to shoot folks that bad, join the military. Okay,
Yeah.
go join the military. If you want to be in a brotherhood that bad, go join a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? You're purposely choosing the worst things to do under the guise of, well, we the protect, because you don't protect all that much. How many times, and I'm not condoning this behavior at all, but you guys remember how everybody was so up in arms for like several, it seemed like it was every other week when Obama was president, where it was some police shooting or whatever. And I don't recall any of the hoodlums, any of the gang members and whoever else. I didn't hear about them going and seeing about them cops and going and wetting up their house and their family home and all this type of stuff. So somebody is lying. No, you only have the bravery, and it's not bravery at all. You only have the nuts to shoot at folks when it's another black man. And I don't know who said this. I'm not going to credit myself with saying this, but it was a quote I thought was so profound. It said, he said, I think it might have been David Banner. I know a lot of people feel like David Banner is fake deep, but I think it was him that said the reason why a young black man can so easily kill another young black man is because he looks at him the same way he looks at himself, as nothing. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't see anything when he looks at that young man that looks just like him. Versus when the white folks come around, which we know white folks don't bother black people for real, but the best example we can have is maybe some of these cops sometimes maybe antagonize people and you don't do anything then. So no, they're not really all that about it. They're just diluted, and really it's just a long way, a long fancy way of committing self-deletion. I know the S word is not YouTube friendly, but it's really just a way of, it's a more intense and volumized way of self-deletion, where you're gonna get rid of everyone who looks just like you as a way of getting rid of yourself, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I can understand why David Banner would say that. I think a lot of this is because, once again, a lot of black women are raising these black men to be their personal attack dogs. So if you never grew up respecting men and seeing your mama fight men and she's sicking you on these other men, and you're going to fight her battles for you, it's okay in your mind to go and shoot up another person or another guy that looks exactly like you. That's cool.
Right.
That's the thing to do. And then in the music, they perpetuate that too. Now we have it extra bad because, they might have had gangster music, but now they got horrors with the gangster music, with your sexy red, talking about she's a hoe, but then she got to have a nigga that's got the clips and the magazines and all of this. It's like, it's on overload. And then with black people, they tell you could judge a race of people by their women.
Yep.
And if our women are out here singing Sexy Red, and like I said, if black women didn't like Sexy Red, there wouldn't be any consumers for her and they wouldn't push her.
Exactly.
Same thing with your Love and Hip Hops. Love and Hip Hop been on about 20 seasons now. There is no reason for this show to be continuously going on, because why are y'all supporting such ratchet behavior, such degenerate behavior? Like, this is not, but like I said, this is what black women like. They like this type of energy, like this type of stuff that's going on. Because we got to be real, most of the people that's watching Love and Hip Hop are going to be black women.
Mhm. Yep. And then, like you mentioned, with the obviously there is an audience, there is a market for Sexy Red. I've seen women say on my Facebook, and the reason I use Facebook as a gauge is because the people on my Facebook are people that I actually know. You know, when it comes to YouTube and TikTok and stuff, you know, people just they might follow my page or something. But the people on my Facebook I know personally, and a lot of them might they shared this post that said, "I'm convinced if you're a black woman and you don't like Sexy Red, you just boring." And to me, that level of immaturity is like insane. But it's so annoying because you want to get these people told, right? You want to tell them you sound so stupid. Like you sound like the dumbest person I've ever heard in my life. But they're so dumb that they wouldn't understand. Like they wouldn't understand why what they're saying is dumb. And I'm to the point where, you know, we got to quit expending so much energy trying to pull these people up so much, because I think at some point people are purposely they're just purposely turning away from logic and reason. There's no reason at all why any grown person, and I'm talking about grown even past just the age of 18, 19, nobody that's older than 14 years old should find Sexy Red's music entertaining or something that they want to purposely listen to, or her persona to be emulated in any way. And
Ski.
man, listen, and then King Jers made a good point, right? He said it's better female rappers, but we'll never see them. We'll never see the female rappers that are actually really talented, that have the craft and that know how to string together, do the wordplay, the punchlines, the metaphors, all of that type of stuff that we know rap to actually be. They'll never be propagated. It's just gonna always be the thought rappers, and it's crazy to me that there's so many of them, because you would think, well, all of y'all gonna have the exact same gimmick. Like, how can we even distinguish between you? Like, I'm not gonna pretend
Right.
like there's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no Meg the Stallion songs that I like or whatever. There's a couple of them that are catchy, but with the other female rappers, I literally do not know any of their songs. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like if it's Meg, if it's Cardi, if it's Suki, if it's Sexy Red, if it's Lotto, if it's Glorilla, if it's all of these girls rapping about they hoo ha, like how are you not bored with that?
Uh, yeah, I agree. Shanti said reality TV is falling off too. The numbers are horrible, and so is the storyline. I agree. JBO said Nicki Minaj is the queen of rap. Okay. Um, Shanti said just because someone is a great rapper didn't mean they have the it factor too, though. I agree. It's a lot of rappers that are great, but they don't have the it factor. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
they're
honest
not
with y'all.
commercial.
I,
They're
I
not
don't
able to be
think
commercialized.
I don't think Sexy Red is has an it factor. I think and my homeboy said this. I think Sexy Red is an industry plant and she don't know that she's an industry plant. What that mean is she making the music and certain people are pushing her. And I think it's the tiny hats, and the tiny hats are making a division between black people more and more, because you gotta ask yourself, why are so many black women able to run rampant on social media doing the stuff that they're doing? Literally, I seen a girl suck on this guy's gun as if she was performing fellatio, and this was on social media. But if you get on social media and you speak against black women too much, they would take you down. Like on TikTok. TikTok is not a place for black men, point blank, period. If you try to hold a live stream, especially if you try to hold a live stream for men only, they would definitely try to get your live taken down and get your page taken away, because black women don't like to see black men come together, because once black men come together, it's over for the stuff and the degenerate behavior, and black women gonna have to acquiesce to what black men want, right? And the issue is always gonna come where black men can't trust each other, because it's always gonna be a lame nigga that's gonna do what's gotta be done to get some coochie. Got to get that cootie pop, and that's the sad part, that we can't even come together as men because somebody over here ain't got enough coochie in his life. So now he got to run over here and sneak and
He
back.
got a cape. He got a
Right,
cape.
right.
And see,
Hold on.
that's where, yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
finna read the comments. I was gonna address
I
it
was, I
too.
was gonna, I was gonna play this video, then we get back to it. Let me play this video.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So I'm gonna play this video. I found this video. I thought it was good. So let's see.
Older son.
I feel like you're acting like you're the first woman to be divorced and you're the first woman that's left with 2 children to fend for. I've been doing it for 14 years.
Erica.
Now that part right there was weird, because just because you've been divorced don't mean that I want to be divorced. Just because you've been doing it 14 years don't mean I'm not taking divorce hard. Just because you've been divorced doesn't mean that I want to do exactly what you're doing. Don't try to belittle my experience with this divorce, with my divorce, and think that I'm supposed to be okay with divorce because you're okay with divorce.
Mena then added that she has been a single parent for 16 years, and that's when Spice delivered the low blow.
I've been doing it for nowhere. 16. Okay? 16. Okay, with 16 your son that don't like you.
And obviously
that's a low blow. With your son that doesn't like you. Your son that doesn't like you. Why would you say that? Like, even if I told you that in confidence, you bring it out, and I would be upset too if someone said that about my child, because it might be an issue where we might be going through something, but that doesn't mean my child doesn't like me. But when you put it out there like that, it's like we've been having issues since I've had a child. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. Well,
that didn't sit well.
Go ahead.
See, the thing is though, yeah, like you said, when you go low, you can't account for how much lower somebody is going to go. I think my issue with Erica Mena saying it is not so much that, even though, of course, yes, I already mentioned, I don't like to see people get their feelings hurt. Like I feel like there's like as a content creator myself, obviously people say hurtful things to me all the time. But there's certain things that maybe might actually get under my skin. And so I can sympathize with people when someone says something really hurtful, right? My issue was though that it's a racist thing to say. And I have never accidentally said something racist to somebody, even in the midst of anger. If I was ever
saying something about the monkey part,
right?
Okay.
Like, so I think that like for instance, if I was arguing with like a white person at my job or something like that, which of course doesn't happen often, but if it ever has, I haven't slipped up and been like, "You honky peckerwood." Like, I just don't talk like that. I don't think like that, even in my daily life.
Hold on. So you mean to tell me you think Erica Mena told her she was a monkey to be racist? She because this woman, I'm gonna say this woman is not attractive, and she got this blue hair looking like a clown. I'm just gonna be honest. And
why couldn't she have just called her a clown? Like said, you and I both know, you're smart enough to know that the term monkey as an insult is usually reserved for black people, specifically darker skinned black people. I've never heard somebody call a light skinned person a monkey, and I've never heard somebody call a white person a monkey, even if they were ugly.
I beg to differ, and the reason that I say that is I have heard other dark skinned people say that another dark skinned person looked like a monkey because they look like a monkey, not necessarily
right.
Dark skin, is because they typically look like monkeys. And we can't act like there aren't like white monkeys and stuff like that. You just don't think to call them that. So that's the issue. And this woman, I'm pretty sure, and this is the thing, and I'm gonna say this: we feel like we pick up on energies, right? So you can feel kind of how a person feels about themselves, right? And I can kind of have conversations with a person to know what someone has said to them in their past life that gets under their skin. This woman is not just conventionally attractive. She has blue hair and, big nostrils and stuff like that. So looking at this woman, I'm pretty sure she has been called monkey a lot in her life. So, and I'm pretty sure this is an issue that she's probably had plenty in her life. So me calling her a monkey is just going to just, rub a scab that she's already had in life, not necessarily because I'm racist or something like that. And then you also got to remember this. Erica Mena is supposed to be the black woman. They keep trying to act like Erica Mena is black. So I don't know where the racism would come in at that, because like, let's say even if she wasn't Latino or whatever, let's say you had let's say it was you on the other end. If you called her a monkey, would that be racist?
It wouldn't be racist in a traditional sense, but it would be a racist sentiment to say. And to Ashanti's point, Erica Mena has never claimed to be black, and many Latino, Black Latinos, Afro Latinos, even Cardi B, it was the same thing when she
But
did
hold
something
on.
similar.
But I didn't say Erica Mena. I said a lot of the black women are saying Erica Mena.
And I told you, I said that it wouldn't be racist in the traditional sense. No, because I am black, but it would be me mimicking a racist sentiment. Yes. Like, what do you mean? So
Okay,
you're really gonna
no, let me
pretend?
ask you this. So if somebody literally resembled a monkey and you told them that in an argument, that's racist if they literally look like a monkey.
If they were a dark-skinned black person and I called them a monkey, I'm smart enough to know that that is a racially insensitive statement to make.
That's not what I asked you. If they
It's
look
it's
like
exactly what you're asking me.
if they look, hold on, because this is why I'm confused. If I see somebody that look like a caterpillar and I say, "Hey, you ugly dog, you like a caterpillar," that ain't
That
racist.
phrase has no racial
Hold on.
insensitivity to it.
I understand what you're saying about all of the racial, things that come behind it, right? I understand that. But we're talking about two black people, because we say nigga to each other, and that's not meant to be racist, right?
It should be. I recognize that it isn't, but it should
Okay,
be.
so hold on. We call each other nigga, and you hear nigga in music, nigga this, nigga that, but nobody's like, this is racist. But when it comes to a monkey, when I think this woman resembles a monkey, I personally do. And I don't think it's in the context of her being racist. I think I'm looking at somebody that looks like a monkey, and I call you that. Now I'm racist for calling you something that you look like, when we know
Well,
black people literally use a term and say nigga, and I say nigga as endearment because you're my brother now.
Well, you just said it yourself, said just like Ashanti said, it depends on the context. You calling your homeboy nigga like nigga chill or something like that, that's a term of endearment. In no point, no one's gonna call somebody a monkey in an endearing way. So it's an insult.
Oh,
That's the difference.
I just don't feel that way. And the reason I said it, if two black people I know can say nigga to each other, because okay, so is there any time that the N word with between two black people can be considered racist? Then,
Uh Now could it be considered racist? I
yeah, like you
mean,
said, it has the racist undertone when you call a black person a monkey. Can two black people having a conversation with each other and they get mad, and can one person call the other person nigga?
the
And
only
be
way I
racist?
could think of, I could see it being, I could obviously, well, I think to your point, you could obviously tell the difference between saying the N word in an endearing way versus as like if you're mad at somebody. But I still don't think it would be a racist encounter between two black people, because what
Okay,
would you say?
hold on.
You would hold on, let me finish my
Okay,
point. Let me finish my
go
point.
ahead.
Like you might just say, nigga, STFU. Okay, so me telling you to shut the F up is really the meat of what I'm saying. I'm just saying nigga before that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that really doesn't affect the argument really. Like the only thing I can do is just say the N word in an aggressive way, but it's not necessarily racially motivated between two black people. But the thing is, said whether you want to admit it or not, I'm the type of person, I'm a realist. Realistically, I understand that there is, whether we like it or not, there's a difference between how light-skinned people and darker skinned people are perceived, how they're treated, especially women. And I hate that so bad, right? And I just know that it's not fair because you can't control your skin color. So I just hate it for our dark skinned sisters who have had to grow up with an inferiority complex, because I have literally heard our black men. Now, this is one thing, I'm sorry, I got to be honest. I have heard black men say this out of their own mouths, several, that will say that light skinned women are just naturally prettier, naturally more attractive. Like, it's like, well, dang, like, I done seen some light skinned, ugly women before. And guess what? I never once thought to call them a monkey. And I've seen some dark skinned, ugly black women before, and I still never thought to call them a monkey.
Uh, I'm just gonna be honest. I've been around a lot of black men, and see, like we talk about context matters. I don't know when those black men told you that, were they trying to say something to make you feel good because you are a light skinned woman, right? So I'm not saying you heard this. They were saying it to you to make you feel good. I'm just saying in context matters, because I've been around a lot of black men and we had conversations about skin tone, and I've heard a lot of black men say some nice stuff about dark skinned women, and I don't want to get too vulgar, but if I say this as men, y'all gonna understand. A lot of y'all gonna understand what I'm
Let me
saying.
guess, the black of the berry, the sweet of the juice.
Yeah, like that part, or like they like the way that the darker skin looks, and when you get down to the vagina area, it looks a little pinker, and it's a turn on and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff that people like the way the darker skin glistens. Like I've heard that darker skinned women's skin is suppler than lighter skinned women. And I would have to agree. Like if you touch a darker skinned woman, her skin seems to be a little bit more supple, a little more elastic in there. Like it just depends on the conversation. And a lot of times when I had these conversations with men, I always judge them on their experience with women. And what I mean by that is, how many women have you actually encountered to the point where y'all got intimate, where y'all had conversations, where you got to really experience a woman, and not just strictly on a sexual level? Like, do you know her past experiences, her hurts, her traumas, and stuff like that? Because those experiences shape us and how we view a lot of stuff. So when men be like, oh, I like light-skinned women, they're more attractive, I just don't think you've experienced a lot of women that much.
Listen, I'm inclined to agree. To your earlier point, no, those men were not just saying that to appease me, because they weren't talking to me at all. It was on certain podcasts that I've watched with several thousands of, watchers and this kind of thing. But yeah, I think that ultimately we're smart enough to know that people have preferences, right? There are some people,
Oh yeah.
um, I'm gonna make fun of my boyfriend because I know when I first met him, of course he didn't say it, but it was some conversation we were having that kind of alluded to the idea that he actually does prefer, like, maybe like brown skin, not necessarily dark skin, but like brown skin women. And then here I am, this bright yellow girl or whatever. So certainly there are differences and preferences, but I think that colorism, it's just a little irresponsible. It's a little irresponsible to pretend like colorism doesn't exist, and that I just don't know that people I just don't know that a light skinned person or a white person, or basically anyone other than a dark skinned black person, though said, to your point, you may see a person and think they look like a monkey, quite literally, but how often is that insult shared with a person unless it's a dark skinned black person? I mean, if we're just being honest, maybe your experience is different than mine. I've never seen it happen to anyone except for a dark skinned black person.
I think I'm gonna say this: when it comes to colorism, I think colorism affects women, black women, way more than it affects black men. And also, I think darker skinned women have a bigger chip on their shoulder. Oh, excuse me, bigger chip on their shoulder than darker men. And the reason being, I think, like when you think about men, a lot of darker skinned men are considered sex symbols. Like your Idris Elba, he's a darker skinned man, or your Morris Chestnuts, or you got a lot of your Tay Diggs. Like it's a lot of black men who are sex symbols, right? Whereas on the darker skin area, you don't have that for women. Like most of your black women are going to be your mulatto women. You're going to have your Halle Berry's, your Zoe Zendaya, your, the typical light skinned black phenotype, right? So
Mhm.
it's like with black men, I'm not looking at a black man, a light skinned black man, like I can't fuck with this nigga because he light skinned. But I have heard black women say, a darker skinned black woman say, oh, she thinks she all that because she light skinned, or she thinks she all that because she got good hair, or she mixed and she got long curly hair, or she thinks she got all that because she mixed or she got long curly hair. Like I've heard women say this, and this is why I say this statement. Black women don't cover up what they proud of. And what I mean by that, when they got a big old ass, they be ready to show that to the world. But then the next minute they want to cover up their hair. Like they natural hair, they always putting wigs and different stuff on. It's like, okay, I get it. Like you don't really wear your natural hair a lot, but your body, y'all showing that off. Your titties. I see so much areolas on the internet, or for the sake of breastfeeding, I see a lot of women showing their titties so they can breastfeed. Like I said, I think colorism really is an issue for black women, and not just
Yeah.
dark skin women, just the women dynamic, the light skin and the
Well,
dark skin. You know.
I agree with that part definitely, and actually, you kind of prove what I was trying to get at is that colorism is real. However, it is perpetuated mostly by black women on either side, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
perpetuated by the dark skinned black women towards light skinned black women, and it's perpetuated by all black women towards light skinned black men. I have heard so many women throughout the course of my life say that they feel like a light-skinned man, they're automatically gonna call him sassy.
Fancy,
They're
yeah.
gonna say he's weak. They're
They
gonna
can't
say, "I
fight. Oh yeah.
exactly, he can't fight," all this type of stuff, and I'm like, "That is so crazy." So we wonder why, so many lighter skinned men, like, they always make sure they, I've noticed a lot of, like, especially the real light skinned ones, they wanna make sure they go get a full sleeve, 2 full sleeves,
Yeah.
neck tats. They wanna make sure they coming off as hood and as gangster as possible because the women have told them for their entire lives that literally just their skin tone alone somehow has some bearing on their manhood, which is insane.
I can agree with that, especially about the man part, the light skinned man part. I
They
agree.
do light skinned men so bad.
They definitely do, and I think a lot of that go back to maybe slavery too, because you got to think about, like, when you look at pictures of the warriors in Africa, or the warriors they had when he's watching like movies like Django, when they actually had the men fighting and stuff like that. You're
Right.
typically gonna have some big black dark skinned nigga doing that. You're not gonna have nobody that's light skinned, or the slave owner's son. He's not gonna be out there fighting and stuff like that. So yeah, you're not going to do that. But can we talk about how, and this is, I know we're talking about colorism, so I guess this is going to it. Can we talk about how in the media, the black man, the darker skinned black man is portrayed to be gay now? Like, black men were considered the most masculine men, but now every time you turn on TV and they put a black man in front of us that's darker skinned, he gay. The Saucy Santana, the other nigga that's on that podcast, that big dude. What that dude that wore that dress to the award, Billy Porter,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
Wayne Wade and his son, and like, you ever notice when they put niggas and being gay, they take the darker skinned man and put him out there.
I have noticed that. And real quick to address something in the comments, because I've noticed, like, with Ashanti, I don't think I can directly respond to her since she's on your stream and not mine. But Ashanti, I had typed something to you early in the chat. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but yes, with the whole, I've never disrespected a light skinned man just off the strength of him being light skinned, but I would be lying. I would be lying if I didn't kind of assume that, not like just like a caramel or light brown, but the real yellow men. I don't know. I guess it's because in our community, the men treat light skinned women a lot of times differently than they do dark skinned women, as if to assume that their fair skin makes them more feminine somehow. So I think I just kind of naturally took that and applied it to the men as well, where all of it is ridiculous. Like, your skin color is just your skin color, people. Like, we talk about this whole black and white thing, but here they are, albino people are technically black and they have the whitest skin on the planet. So we gotta just sometimes just be mindful of, like, how we're attributing these things. And then also, to We Call BS, she says she was referring to my sentiment about the nigga versus nigga thing. Like if you arguing with somebody, she was like, that's like someone calling you, not you personally, a B word jokingly or in a heated confrontation. Should context really matter since the word itself is offensive? I
I
just
don't
feel
think
like,
so.
yeah, I was about to say,
Hold on. I don't think context matters if it's an offensive word. Bitch, bitch is offensive. Point blank, period. I don't care if you
right.
joking. I don't care if you talking to your homegirl. Bitch is offensive. Nigga is offensive. I don't care if you, because words have meaning. Context, I think when we do context, we trying to skirt around like gray areas of certain things. No, there's a meaning to these words. We could look them up. Those are derogatory terms, bitch, or bitch is not necessarily a derogatory term, but it's meant to be used as that. But it means female dog, and if you want to be a female dog, then it is
Well,
what.
see, yes, but the thing is though, because I don't use those types of words with my friends. I never have, and they never have with me. But obviously, I do know females that do. So if both the females in that conversation are using that word as a term of endearment, then it would have to be in that context a term of endearment. Like, because both of them are in on it. Now, if you are a woman that doesn't mind calling women the B word, and then you just happen to say it freely, and then you come across another woman who doesn't like that, somebody like me, I'm gonna be like, oh, no, not the B word. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think the context in that situation actually does matter, but I totally agree with you that words have meanings. And certainly in this day and age, we can't understate the fact that words have meanings, and we can't just change the meanings of things because we want to.
Okay, so since we're talking about context in this Erica Mena situation, context, you think she was being racist, or do you think she was just trying to be hurtful? What's your
I think
just
she was.
honest opinion? We're gonna finish this. Do you think she was being hurtful or being hurtful, or she was being racist?
I think she was being hurtful. I think that her racism came out. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. I just don't think that you just call somebody a monkey off GP. Like I don't. I know that that's a racially insensitive term, just like a wetback or spick or whatever. I've never used those terms towards someone or even really thought of them, especially like when I'm actually thinking of people of those races. So I wouldn't say something like that because it's not even, you know what I'm saying? That's not, if I'm thinking of insulting you, I might say, I don't know. I could have made fun of her hair. I could have made fun of her nostrils. I could have made fun of her if she had jacked up teeth or whatever else. I could have said all those things. I just wouldn't have automatically thought monkey because I'm just ingrained to believe that monkey is a racially insensitive term, and I don't think like that when it comes to insulting people.
Yeah, like I said, I've been in situations with people that was darker than me, and they damn sure look like a monkey. And I wasn't trying to be racist. Yeah, this motherfucker like a damn monkey. And I told him, I said, hey, bro, you like a motherfucking monkey. Like your hair ugly as hell. Like, and it was just that. It wasn't me being racist. It wasn't nothing like that. Like you look like a monkey. As a matter of fact, I'm finna Google the monkey you look like, and I'm finna show you and tell me you don't look like this motherfucking monkey. And if you look like a monkey, it just is what it is. But
So
I just want,
you've seen white people that you think look like monkeys.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who took a picture of a white person in Walmart and sent it to me and said, "This person don't like a monkey."
And you
Literally.
agree.
And I agreed, and it was a little kid, and that's what was so funny because a little white girl, and she took the picture, and when she sent it, I was like, she damn sure look like a monkey because they got these little white monkeys. They
Man, you
got
are
these,
out of
they
control.
got these. That's why I'm saying, like, if you look like something, I just can't be like you're racist because you look like. If you look like it, you just look like the shit. And I know that you want. And this is another thing that us as black people we do, and it just came to me. We always are holding on to racism at every drop of a dime when somebody says something, and so many other people ain't holding on to racism like we are. So somebody might say something, and then we're like, oh, they might not have been thinking that it was racist, but it was definitely insensitive. And it's like, nigga, ain't nobody thinking about racism but you. And that's a lot of times why it's hard for people to be around us as black people, because you got to walk on eggshells to talk to black people, because you might say something to black people like, oh, that was racially insensitive, and then this nigga like, bro, we've been hanging out, we've been cool, and you just think I'm just out here saying racist shit? No, I just not even thinking about racism, because you're so bent up and hung up on race all the time. And I'm not saying that you do that, Jazz. I'm just saying, like, us as black people, we're always caught up on race, and every little thing ticks us off. And I always say this: racism is a $1 billion industry. They pay to keep us, hung up on racism. They do this because it makes money. That's why they put a Black Lives Matter and paint it on your fucking street. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
No, you're 100% right in that way, where black people do fixate on racism far too much, and sometimes it makes it to where, Lord help these white people, because I know that they get, like you said, have to feel like they're walking on eggshells sometimes, because anything could be considered racially insensitive. But I think, and of course, we can just agree to disagree. I just think that people know that the term monkey is typically reserved as a racist insult, just like spick, just like bean-eyed, just like wetback, just like I'm trying to think of some other ones that people use for racist, but we know that, right? So if you say it, in whatever context you are saying it, you just said yourself that words have meanings, and if they're meant to be derogatory words, then don't we just need to, accept them as derogatory?
Yeah, I agree, but I think it was supposed to be a insult, definitely. So I'm not saying that. I just didn't think the insult went to racism, but I know for a lot of people, especially darker skinned people, it's going to always land in racism, right? And that's where I think the issue is. I don't think Erica Mena is a racist person. I don't really
She's
follow
done
her.
other people who watch the show, like I think even Ashanti mentioned it earlier, and somebody else I was talking with yesterday on my Facebook. They said that this isn't the first time that she's made racially insensitive comments. Latino people, Afro Latino people struggle with this a lot, where they want to do everything they can to remove themselves from their blackness, and so they will, yeah, they'll do that. They'll feel like they're outside of the proverbial black person, and they can say certain things, or they want to say them to be hurtful. So yeah, that I'm just letting you know that's what people said. People said this ain't the first time she's done something like this.
Y'all make sure y'all like the video. If you watch it, make sure you like the video and share the video,
Mhm.
please. I'm gonna ask this question real quick. So Safari is close to this color of this woman's spice, right? Do you think that she used racially insensitive things when talking to Safari ever when they was married?
It wouldn't shock me if she did. A lot of times these black men, and I'm not talking about necessarily Erica Mena, but a lot of times black men, they love to date and marry outside, which of course is your prerogative to do, but you just have to remember those insults are gonna hit a little different. Certainly you don't if I call you, like we mentioned the N-word earlier, like, nigga, okay. If I say that versus if Lil Becky say that, it ain't gonna quite feel the same. So,
Mm.
I think that sometimes black men need to be mindful of that. Every culture doesn't kind of follow the same little rules and regulations that we do. But to not to get on a tangent, but to answer your question, it wouldn't shock me if she had. Um, it just wouldn't shock me.
Okay. Like I said, with the whole monkey thing, I will agree it has been used as racial things. And she said that black men treat Latino women better than black women. Joe Budden baby mamaed her and left her in the same way she imagined he would have treated a black woman. She said the black women, she said that
See,
black men treat, okay, there we go. She said that black men treat Latino women better than black women. Joe Budden baby mamaed her.
so she's saying that Erica Mena has been quoted as
No, I
being
think
one of those
she
people.
gotta be talking about sin. Sin. You talking about sin? Because sin is the baby mama, right?
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Okay, that's
y'all
why
know I don't know these folks.
okay, that's why I was trying to, because sin is so fine. Lord have mercy.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So it's another person.
Yeah, so that's what sin said. So So Joe Budden baby mamaed her like she did, like he would have treated a black woman. I got you, I got you. But like I said, I agree. Monkey has been used as a term of racism, and if you're a smart black person, if you actually look at a monkey, white people look more like monkeys than black people. They got the white skin and they hairy as fuck. Like most black people ain't that hairy as white people. As a matter of fact, I was in Biloxi at the casino in the pool and I was looking at all the white men who was hairy as shit from their back, their chest and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And then they, white people ain't got no lips and monkeys ain't got no lips. So I'm like, it just they look more like monkeys than actual black people do, but it is what it is. They try to say we come from monkeys and shit like that, but it is what it is. So let's
So
move on. What you
yeah, I was
finna
about to say. Yeah, I was about to say. I know. I see. Shanti said. See, y'all. I really do not be knowing this stuff. She said that Erica and Sin were in a lesbian relationship, so she said
Yeah, they
they didn't
was.
complain.
Yeah, they was. So